Architecture should inspire, it should invest, and it should transform.
New architecture emerging in Rwanda's capital, Kigali, is built with this sole vision in mind: to foster the country's and continent's next leaders and entrepreneurs.
We're looking at a situation where Kigali becomes the Silicon Valley of Africa.
This is Rwanda's new inspiring infrastructure. This is Inside Africa.
I believe that the creation of public spaces that are accessible for all start shaping common identity of what it means to be a citizen of this city.
Kigali-born architect Christian Benimana has been practicing architecture for more than 11 years in the city.
I believe design has the power to create transformative solutions, especially for challenging problems. I do believe in that power of design, and because of that, I've developed a passion for figuring out how to utilizing, how to deploy it.
Christian works for the international firm Mass Design Group, which stands for Model of Architecture Serving Society, and has ongoing projects in around 17 different countries in Africa.
They are mostly institutional projects, but they range from field of healthcare to higher education, conservation, cultural, you name it. And the reason why we focus on those the most is because they're the ones that we believe have a greater responsibility to the public. And therefore, they have the potential for most transformation.
In 2020, the Wall Street Journal magazine named Mass Architecture Innovator of the Year. That year also saw the completion of one of the firm's most recent projects, a new Kigali campus for the African Leadership University, or ALU as it's often called.
Instead of students majoring in a specific discipline, at African Leadership University, what we went for was an interdisciplinary solution building type programs where students come in and they declare a mission.
My mission is to support entrepreneurs in accessing finance,
to build innovation in agriculture,
to provide capital to underserved social entrepreneurs in Africa.
The university's approach, personalizing students' education, is facilitated by the campus design, with a notable absence of any lecture halls.
When you walk into one of our classrooms, it's not a space where you have, the all-knowing teacher at the front of the room who's barking down information for students to learn. Instead, we have, group tables for problem-based learning and project-based learning sessions. That means that there isn't one class where all students are learning the exact same thing and it's going to be applied in the exact same way. Whatever our students learn is applied towards their individual missions.
Because of that kind of groundbreaking curriculum and teaching methodology, we also had to think about an architecture that does not provide a university campus from the conventional ways. We also had to start from what they wanted to achieve and work backwards to find the types of spaces that can support that. The building, the way it's designed, it's around this idea of a pod that can accommodate either group learning or peer learning or individual learning or facilitated learning. And the spaces between the pods is what supports these entire needs for these 4 spaces. So the paths between the pods become these discovery paths or journeys that you take by yourself.
The university first started offering classes in Kigali in 2017. With some encouraging signs, their innovative teaching practices work.
I get, shivers and goosebumps just thinking about some of the really amazing things that our alumni have been able to do. We have students accepted into some of these top institutions, SOAS, Oxford, big companies all over the world, the Googles and the blah, blah, blahs. We have students in the fashion industry, students in climate change initiatives, students in agriculture with like vertical farming projects and organic farming projects. It's really, really diverse and really, really varied.
An hour-and-a-half's drive from Rwanda's capital, Kigali, lies an institute fostering the next generation of agricultural entrepreneurs and leaders.
There are these challenges which are out there facing the agriculture sector here and everywhere in the world. So RICA's aim is to try and develop critical thinkers and problem solvers, innovators who are going to be able to come up with new inventive ways to deal with some of these challenges. What does any animal need from us?
The Rwanda Institute for Conservation Agriculture, known as RICA, is funded by the Howard G. Buffett Foundation, which provides full scholarships and board to all their 250-plus students.
There are several things that makes RICA unique in Africa. In each year of study, we have like one centerpiece experiential course. So in the first year, it's the practical farming series, where students in this course, they're learning about small-scale production systems. So the first-year farms, which are operated by the students, are actually located right outside of their houses. So it really tries to simulate the smallholder farming situation, where you would live close to your crops and close to your livestock. So the campus has been built to facilitate that. And then in the second year of study, they move on to the enterprise series of courses, where they're now learning about commercial-scale agriculture. So there's the livestock enterprises, including poultry and swine production, dairy production, and then they do crop production systems, including vegetable and fruits, and also row and forage crops. And then they also do food processing systems and mechanization and irrigation systems. And then in the third year of study, they go on to do a capstone project. So they go into the industry and work with an industry partner or here on campus, and they do a 6-month internship. So here they're getting exposure to operating in the industry or real-life work experience.
Another example of mass design group architecture, the eco-design reflects the Institute's sustainable mission, using 95% locally sourced materials and running on solar power.
For this one, we really wanted to see if it's possible to think of a university campus that can be climate positive in the shortest amount of time possible. That's why we resorted to earth construction, because if we built with cement blocks and concrete, reinforced concrete as normally we build, then we will never be able to achieve those targets. So the goal was to reduce the amount of reinforced concrete as much as possible. That's why we thought about timber construction, which is an industry that exists in the country, but you will not say like it is developed enough to the level of sophistication to be used in such institutional project. So we had to figure out a way to create that system and understand how it could work.
The university opened in 2019 and is expected to cost in the region of $75 million once completed.
There's a wide range of interests amongst the students about what they want to do after they graduate. So throughout the program, we place a lot of emphasis on leadership skills, developing entrepreneurship skills, and then the practical hands-on skills that you need to start a business in agriculture or to work in a big organization. So we find the interest spread. Some people are already going after entrepreneurial opportunities. There's a lot of interest in entrepreneurship and starting up something new. You'll get to practice creating an effective...
I have a dream. I have realized so many gaps in the agriculture sector where farmers are facing the problem of climate change, and RICA is helping me, equipping me with hands-on experience, and I hope this will help me to achieve my dream of helping farmers to get water for their crops whenever they want, regardless of the season.
My aspiration is to educate smallholder farmers on how to maximize their yields using the available limited resources.
I'm working on a project of greenhouse manufacturing in Rwanda, because I believe that climate change is a very big issue, not only to Rwanda, but to Africa and the world at large.
Some students are already at work putting their lessons into practice, like green promoters, an agricultural startup that is developing a 2-in-1 organic pesticide fertilizer. 3 of their members attend the institute.
Success looks like to me as having a farm or a place where there's no use of those chemical products because they harm a lot the environment, not forgetting about us. So there's a need of establishing a system where we all use organic products.
In May 2022, Desange Wera and her team won the International Wedge Prize after developing a prototype of their product.
We are currently looking for reliable partners, those ones who can help us to really implement the business, because we don't want to stay here in Rwanda or Africa. We want to go out there. So we are looking for the partners who can help us to better implement the business.
Just like the students on it, plans to expand the campus are ambitious. They're due to complete by the end of 2023. Rwanda's capital, Kigali, is growing its reputation as one of the continent's largest startup hubs. And central to this goal is building spaces that'll support entrepreneurship.
The ultimate goal of this space is to become the largest hub of entrepreneurs in Africa, with over 1,000 people working here on a typical day.
Norskin House Kigali opened at the end of 2021 and is part of the Swedish non-profit Norskin Foundation, which supports entrepreneurship globally.
We support startups in 3 concrete ways. Number 1 is a space that is well located, well designed. The second way is through investments, some of which we do ourselves through our different investment vehicles. But the third way is a great network, both from our ecosystem and our partners, all of which contribute to increasing the chances of success of those who are solving the world's greatest challenges.
One of the startups Norskin invested in is local fintech company Pesa Choice, which has built an HR platform for the African marketplace.
They were one of the first people to really believe in us and give us our first pre-seed money to be able to hire the team that we now have here. The second part is that they offered us this beautiful space, which has been a great co-working space for us, especially because our team is very young. The median age of our team is 27, and that's because our CEO is 42. Without him, it would be around 25. And it helps the team be able to focus, be able to feel at home when they're coming at work, and be motivated.
With sustainability in mind, the space makes use of pre-existing buildings. Built on the site of a former school, the classrooms have been reconfigured to suit entrepreneurs.
The space is designed to be a conducive environment for startups. First, by embedding a workspace in nature. That plays a critical role because, for instance, I could be having a meeting indoors, but if I don't want to be indoors, I could have a seat outside on the steps in the landscape, etc., etc. Some research show that being in nature could boost your productivity by upwards of 20%. That's very important. Number 2, we wanted a workspace that is powered by technology. We have promised amazing Wi-Fi, and that is one of the key deliverables of our space. The third way is how the space was designed to boost people bumping into each other, which creates a sense of community. If you walk around, you'll see that you can get anywhere by using different paths.
There's currently 60 startups based here, mostly with a tech focus, ranging from robotics.
We have a wide range of humanoid robots. These are intelligent robots, inspiring other tech entrepreneurs who are interested in robotics and AI and research. Because some of our robots, as you can see, they use them to test their applications and so forth.
To home rental platforms. Cameroonian Miniufong Ngombongbong founded Bongaloo 3 years ago with the aim of becoming Africa's answer to Airbnb.
Bungalow is like Airbnb, but really focused on the African market. Contextually, it's a booking platform that helps travelers and people to find to give access to affordable places to stay across the African continent with mobile wallet payments that permit them to make payments on the platform for different properties, as well as remit payments to hosts directly to their mobile wallets as well.
With over 1,000 listings in Rwanda and Cameroon, Bungalow are still substantially shy of Airbnb's last reported figure of 130,000 listings in Africa in 2018.
For us, understanding the whole African market very entirely and the customer behavior on the African continent, we create a business that do fit here. Our business model is renters. We understand that the challenges, how people don't want to share their homes, people don't want to, they build homes to just their family nature. But then things are growing and changing a lot because the Generation Z now and then the millennials as well are having so much demand. According to the African report, it proved that over 80% of millennials across Africa, they express the need to travel to one other African country instead of going abroad for going overseas for a visit.
From their base at Norskin, the Google-backed venture is now looking to raise more funds to expand further.
We are a team of about 10 people now at the company working full-time. So we're looking very much to scale across the African continent, impact lives, and then through all this we aim to enhance travel opportunities across Africa, opening up different destinations for people to travel and experience the continent much more.
Coming up next, we explore Kigali entrepreneurship on the move. There's a growing entrepreneurial scene in Rwanda, which is being supported by new business hubs, infrastructure projects, and strong economic growth. One of the most exciting transport developments has been the launch of a public bike share scheme in 2021.
GoRide is quite unique when it comes to Africa because we're one of the companies that have actually tried this, and I want to say the only company that's been successful at doing a public bike share system scheme. We offer our services using electric bicycles, smart bikes, kick scooters, and moped through the use of cutting-edge technology, using a mobile app so they can have access to our vehicles across the city.
Nigerian serial entrepreneur Tony Adesina says Gura Ride has been developing this project in partnership with the city of Kigali over the past 5 years.
The heli topography was quite tough. We went through about, I want to say, 6 prototypes of our bicycles before we finally got the model that we feel best will work for here in Africa. And Rwanda being the poster child and as a proof of concept for us, this has to be successful to have other neighboring countries and just countries in Africa as a whole to buy into such innovative ideas.
With 18 docking stations, 100 bikes, and over 75,000 rides registered so far, the aim now is to get more people comfortable cycling in the city.
We hold these sessions every weekend from Saturday to Sunday, and we have about 3 sessions on each day. So we've been able to train over 700 people. 500 of them were women and 200 were male. But we've been able to also overcome a challenge of societal misconception where it's regarded as a taboo for female individuals to ride a bicycle. So, people face a lot of these issues when they go back home asking, why are you riding?
Tony Adesina says reducing the social stigma around cycling in Africa has been one of their biggest challenges.
The public bike share system is not meant for the rich or the poor, it's for everybody, all walks of life, from ages 16 to the 60s. We launched last year. We came up with a strategic method to deploy these bicycles. What we did was we made it free of charge for the first 90 days. It's a marketing strategy as well as just getting people to fall in love with the system in general and gradually, introduce the commercial aspect of it. The buying power in Africa is not as big as you have in Europe or the US or Asia. So we had to make sure that we set our price point so it's extremely affordable for the general public. It's basically 200 francs for an hour. I want to say that's equivalent to less than 20 cents. US dollars, so extremely cheap because when it comes to bike share, it's very expensive to sustain. For most companies all over the world, the way you survive is working with corporate brands. You have the likes of Citibank, Hulu, Netflix, Nike, big brands that have worked with public bike-share system. And we're at a point now where we're talking to big companies here in Rwanda to see how we can collaborate with the same sponsorship approach to be able to further subsidize the cost of these bicycles to the general public.
While the cycling scene is still in its infancy, Rwandan coffee needs no introduction.
Coffee being the #1 or #2 export of the country, it's in our blood. From the farmers to the sorters to the people that are roasting the coffee, it's something that's been in our heritage. We're pretty highly elevated compared to the majority of the world that grows coffee. So we have really fruity notes, a nice acidity, a bright acidity, and really aromatic coffee. So I would say our coffee is really renowned for its simplicity as well as its aroma and the fruitiness.
With a background in business management and finance, coffee connoisseur Kevin Bundu saw an opportunity to add value to the industry.
Kivu Noir is maybe one of the only vertically integrated coffee companies, because not only are we roasting our coffee, but we're also growing it. So we're at every stage of the process. So that goes from farming to washing to sorting to roasting, and then obviously the cafe as well.
Local startup hub Norskin House also presents another export opportunity.
It's also giving us a chance to show that if we were to be positioned in a market like Stockholm, that we could deliver the same amount of quality and the same consistency that we're doing here in Kigali. And in doing that, we'll increase our exports and start to tap into the European market that we've long been waiting to do.
This combination of young, ambitious minds, willing investors, and new infrastructure is helping to establish Rwanda as a business leader on the continent.
Rwanda is like a miracle country that emerged from nowhere to where it is today, based on the history. And you can look around, you'll be able to notice that it is a proof of when a group of people come together, focus on the goal, they can be able to do amazing things.
Our CEO, our teams are able to communicate with other startups here and be able to exchange ideas, be able to know when an opportunity is around the corner, and be able to benefit not only our team but other teams as well.
The kind of decision to try to think outside of the box to find unconventional solutions to unconventional problems is actually encouraged here.
It was quite amazing, the example Rwanda set for other nations in Africa. We believe that Kigali being the Silicon Valley of Africa, that will also motivate other countries to really step up.